Hey, everybody, it's Peggy,
And Heather,
and we're Life Unfiltered. So, anyway, we haven't done this for a little while. You can see
yep.
I'm outside enjoying the weather. Tell us how you enjoy, watching your favorite podcasts and listening to your favorite podcasts. If you're inside or outside, every once in a while you might see a bird. It's fun.
But nice. Yep.
Yeah.
I think red cardinals means like somebody's with you, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, you know this already. I'm not even going to go there because
Well, yes, I have cardinals, I have blue jays, I have hummingbirds, I have eagles, I have herons. We have all sorts of birds. So it's crazy.
yeah, we have birds too.
Yeah.
I see a lot of red cardinals. But anyways, um, so going into I know you're in Canada
Hmm.
and I would love to talk to you about some of the crap that's going on in the US and see what your feedback is. And I don't know if you follow like what's going on in the US. It's just absolutely insane.
I do. I do.
Um, so, like in Florida, there's like all this immigration, there's ban on don't say gay or something like that, and where they're basically removing sex and gender, which are two different things, really,
Yep.
um, from the classrooms. Banning, and this is even in other states, people are banning like drag queen shows for children, which one, I don't know why anybody would bring a kid to a drag queen because usually they're in bars, right?
Yeah.
But um, there are things where now they're like banning like drag queen book readings
Yes.
because they say it's it's hurting our kids.
I don't know how.
And I'm just like, and same thing with transgenders, like people are going a little bit excessive about this. I'm sorry, but of course, if a man walks in with a beard and a skirt in a bathroom, I would think twice. But if somebody sincerely has put in the effort to make themselves like whatever they did, hormonal, whatever, I'm not
They're
what you
living their best life. We should be fine with it.
right? And but all of this, all the things like everybody's like protecting the kids, but nobody is actually doing anything to protect people from the guns that are actually killing the kids and actually killing other adults too. I mean, you're worried about trans and you're worried about bathrooms and you're worried about drag queens, but you're doing nothing. There's no reason for somebody to have an assault weapon. One of those ones that go. There is no reason.
No, no, I can't think of any. Well, in Canada, we have gun control. So you have to be licensed, not and gun control, like you can have a handgun and you have to get a special license for it, or you can have a shotgun, like a hunting license and a shotgun. We don't have assault rifles. Like the average person can't just go out and buy one. It just doesn't happen. So like no automated or automatic weapons. You have a semi-automatic shotgun. So like you have two bullets, like a double barrel. But
Okay.
that's you know,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of like in Florida, they're saying now you can carry a gun without even a permit. And I'm by the way, I'm not in Florida. You know that I'm in Austin, Texas.
yeah.
But Abbott, our governor, is just as crazy as DeSantis or whatever his name is, just as crazy.
Mhm.
And here you can even walk in and go to like I don't know an REI. I don't know if they sell guns, but I'm just using this as an example and buy a gun without any background check or whatever here now in Texas. And the thing is, I say is people are the ones who are killing people, not the guns. But again, assault weapons make it a lot easier to kill more people. And I think we need to have like better checks, like mental health checks, like in a waiting period. And
Yep.
maybe like somebody talking to a counselor, like, why do you need this? And what is your intention? And having to renew their license, like a
Yep.
driver's license.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, there's just so many things that we could do. And it's not we're trying to take away guns from other people. It's just these one guns. And I also don't think, again, like people should be carrying guns without a license.
Well,
I
in
mean,
Canada, so my husband has his gun license, right, for hunting. So he can have a shotgun, right?
yeah.
And he can go and he can shoot, deer or whatever. For him to get his to renew, just to renew, okay, this isn't even all the rigmarole he had to go through to get it, but just to renew, I, as his wife, have to sign the documentation as well. If you are divorced or just recently divorced within 5 years, you're not allowed to own a gun. Oh yeah, anything that could push you over. Can't
And
have it.
that honestly, I love. I mean, I kind of like that. I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's just like it's even like not even just assault weapons though, but just even like I mean, I heard about this little 6-year-old boy who got shot while he was in a car with his mom, road rage. Somebody shot a single bullet, went right through the car. You know, yeah,
Oh,
it went right.
you're
It
making
went right through the. It went. I know. I know. I know. And somebody shot the. You know, and it went straight through the trunk and into this little boy's car seat.
oh,
And the boy said, I guess his mom, Mom, my tummy hurts. It really hurts. And so she pulled over and bleeding. And
oh
like,
my God.
again, this is where people need to have like a mental check before you get a gun.
Well, I just, don't.
I mean, because again, somebody who's not as reactive or has some anger management issues should not have a gun.
Yeah,
You had a road rage incident and you killed a 6-year-old.
yeah.
And I'm sure it was not intentional, but that doesn't matter. You should not have a gun if you have like. But I love what you're saying is like, anything that could be a trigger point to the point of like,
And you're not even allowed to carry your guns around with you. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't like if you're going hunting, it's got to be unloaded. Bullets have to be separate. Your gun just can't be like in
being
your
like boom, 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 like just being able to shoot.
yeah.
And I wish
Well,
that's the way it was here. Because, and again, we're like, it is so ridiculous. Like nobody is, and it's because of all of our politicians, they don't give a shit about us. They care about the money they're getting from their donors. They're being bought. They're being bought. And again, they're focused on drag queens. I'm
yeah,
sorry, there is no threat. And then, by the way, also, when did it go? The government taking away the rights for kids,
yeah.
like for parents, right? Like, so, for instance, like the book banning.
Yeah.
It is the parents' responsibility to be like, this is okay, this is not. It is not okay for the government to tell parents how to parent.
The problem is though,
But yeah, there. Sorry for interrupting. At the same time, though, drag queens, gays, whatever, books, they're all hurting our children. But the real issue, which is hurting our kids, is guns.
yeah, yeah. Well, and I stand back and I go, well, you can I mean, first of all, gun regulations, like regulating guns, and I get that there's a lot the individuals are getting paid out a lot of money, like they're getting bribed. But the government for Canada, it's almost a cash cow because that licensing, that registration, we get charged a lot of money. It's very expensive to own a gun, right? So the government could actually be making money on those people that want to own a gun. So gun registration, all of that going through and having your mental health check and all of that stuff can be
Would
set up,
cause yeah.
would set up a system, first of all, that makes things safer, that would create jobs in mental health and things like that. And the government would therefore also be making money by regulating it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a ton of advantages, and that money might go into gun safety, education for kids. I mean, because kids in the states can find a gun and they don't even know how to
They
be safe.
do. They do. And they shoot.
Yeah,
And it's like insane. Like my brother-in-law does have a gun. He keeps it locked up in a safe. I've never even seen the gun.
yeah.
I'm not a gun person to be honest.
But like, what do you do if you find one? You know, really, you shouldn't touch it, period. And you should go find an adult that can take care of it.
The kids though that bring the guns to the schools, they're
Yeah.
already troubled. They know not to touch it,
Yeah.
but they do. And a lot of parents either just lack, not so involved or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I think again, it comes down to the parenting on the kids' side. If kids are bringing guns to the school, like that's parenting.
Well, And
101.
that's the thing. I mean, there are a lot of parents out there that just don't want to parent. They don't want to say no. They don't want to discipline. I mean, and okay, let's look at it. More people are single parents than are in, a committed relationship.
Yeah.
Raising
It's more
children.
and more happening, whether you're divorced or you single mom, like you got knocked up on accident, whatever.
Yeah, but as a single parent, I know that being the mean parent, the parent that's got to, carry out discipline, and I mean, that's very taxing. It's very difficult, and not everybody is consistent with discipline. So I've got 4 kids. I mean, I got some decent kids.
You do.
They've all had their struggles, but they're good humans. I mean, even my oldest, who's mentally ill, he's still a good human. People enjoy his company. I mean, he's mentally ill, but I mean, that's not a discipline issue. That's just a mental health issue. Um,
Well, going to that, I mean, I have depression, and I mean, I would not get a gun
no,
because I know my mental, like if I get really bad,
yeah, you're a
sometimes goes
danger
through my
to
head.
yourself or to others. It's
Well, I
possible.
would never hurt anybody else
Yeah.
ever. But with my depression, I do have sometimes it really takes a toll on me.
Yep.
And things kind of go through your head sometimes. And I'm like, I know I don't, one, it would be too easy, but two, that's another thing too, that's like, I know I just don't want a gun, again, for my own safety, but I have thought about it. Like, what if I did get a gun and try to do something to myself? I would be so petrified that that bullet would go like straight through my brain into a neighbor's house or something. I don't know why
Yeah.
I think about that, but
I think it's reasonable. I mean, you've seen this happen. I mean, you watch crime shows, you watch, like the CSI kind of, uh, I don't know, like true crime.
yeah.
Things like that happen. I mean, clearly, you're telling me about a 6-year-old that got shot due to road rage, and that bullet went through a car seat. Like, all, do we need to have bulletproof car seats?
Honestly, I mean, they're making backpacks that are bulletproof for kids. I mean, that's where we're getting into this world. But again, drag queens and trans and what bathroom they use and what sport they can do, like play in, and book banning. That is what our politics right now is focusing on instead of all the mass shootings we have in the United States. I mean, we are the most dangerous country, honestly. And it's like, I have a friend that lives in Germany, and she's like, guns are not even allowed. Like the only people who can carry it is like police officers and like army, whatever. But there, you cannot have a
Mm,
gun.
yeah,
And I said to her, I was like, why don't you move to America? Because she's from Tennessee
yeah,
initially. Um, her husband's from Germany, and they both lived in Tennessee, I believe. Like they went to college there together, and that's how they met. And she's just like, well, my husband says, he's just worried about the guns. And initially I was like, oh no, there's crime everywhere. And then I started diving into it. And I'm like, we are the most violent,
yeah,
like, country. I mean, again, if we it's not about removing people's rights to have guns. It's about mental, like, got to make sure we do like the driver's license test, make sure they're competent. Are
yeah,
they right in their mind? And I like what you said though. You cannot, your if you in Canada, like you said, the guns and the bullets have to be separate if you're driving to go hunting.
yeah.
Because then that way also, I mean, I love that idea because, and why didn't anybody think about this? Because honestly, that would stop a lot of,
Well, yeah,
at least road rage, not school shootings,
well,
but road rage.
it gives you that time to, like anybody. I mean, you might be angry, but it forces you to take a few minutes and really decide, is this the problem you want to create? I mean, we don't spend, people are very impulsive, and
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, and I think impulse control is something that we've actually, as a society, we're losing. Um Sorry, our timer's gone off. So we've been 15 minutes, but just kind of,
Yeah, we'll just kind of wrap it up. But yeah, I mean, I think America could learn a lot from Canada. And again, that won't necessarily prevent school shootings or mall shootings, because we have mall shootings too. I mean, I don't know if you heard about that. I mean, we have people going to Walmart, though, shooting up Walmart and killing so many people. We have people going into malls and shooting up. I mean, we're not even halfway through the year.
yep.
And again, like, you can keep the bullets and the guns separate. Will that stop somebody wanting to kill people? No.
Hmm.
But having proper regulation, mental health checks, not having a no permit required, kind of like, that is ridiculous.
And I
And
think as a society, both in the US and Canada, I think we need to work on impulse control and put things like, delayed gratification, and you have to earn your way to get somewhere. You can't just buy it immediately. I think that's something that parents need to do, because if you improve impulse control all the way across the board, you're going to have fewer shootings, you're going to have less violence, you're going to have people that are thoughtful and considerate, and it starts at home. It's in the schools. Like, let's talk about impulse control. Let's talk about, the
mental health, where are people at? Are you depressed? Are you um do you need somebody? Like, I mean, I'm very fortunate that my parents, certain things happened to me when I was a kid and they put me in counseling because of it, but it actually helped me in a lot of ways, because besides this one incident, it helped me get treatment for my depression as well.
Mm,
And being aware. And again, even if somebody's like 25, they still need to have somebody to
they
talk to and love. And it's just sad. I mean, again, in this country, we are more focused on sex and gender being a threat to our children versus gun control.
yeah, it's here too. It's just not quite as bad. Actually, I was talking to my son and his partner, I guess it was last night. And ultimately, it's like, you don't hear, oh, that transgender person, is a danger to people, or that you know
Drag queen
drag
or
queen, or that gay, or that lesbian, or they're not the problem. Like, you're not afraid of these people. I mean, are there some, I mean, there's bad people
there's
of every
predators
kind.
everywhere. There's predators. I mean, for God's sakes, you can't even leave your kid alone, even with a close relative.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, well, and that's usually where dangerous situations occur, like where there's sexual assault or things like that. It's usually somebody you know.
so it's
It's
just basically what we're saying is it doesn't necessarily. I mean, there's probably going to be bad trans, bad whatever. I mean, there are bad, like Jeffrey Dahmer. He was gay and he killed all these people. I totally get it. There are more straight people who are bad.
yes.
And I'm just sorry. Just it's like it's one of those things again. Like, you don't know if somebody's bad until something happens.
Yep.
And
And teaching love and tolerance and self-control and self-discipline and, self-monitoring,
and
those
being
things.
aware. If you see something that's wrong, say something.
Yeah, to the right people. Don't say something like to gossip and to hurt, but say something to like, if it's a child that sees something, talk to a trusted adult, or if it,
Yeah, yeah, of
you
course,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, gossip doesn't help people either. I mean, gossip is hurtful and can cause more trouble. So,
Going
you
to
know,
that even, and I know we're talking about like, and this is actually really severe here in the country, is Black people being pointed out of being like having a gun, or
mhm,
even white men. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but I mean it does, but it doesn't. I mean,
yeah,
because I feel like Black men are more targeted than white men. But when somebody calls the cops, or they're like, help me, like whatever, even though they're in the wrong, you're jeopardizing somebody's life, because nowadays cops are so trigger happy.
yeah,
And I saw this one thing where this one person was like, oh, this guy's at the school and I think he has a gun. He didn't have a gun.
yeah,
And he could have gone. Thank God the cops were good cops and like whatever. Um, but you can't be just, you just have people just, let's focus on the main issues, which is guns and mental health.
Yeah.
And it's not books that's killing our children or hurting
No.
our children.
And it's certainly not the LGBTQ
DQ
community.
community.
Like, they're not out there causing trouble. Not that they couldn't, but generally they're not the perpetrators of crime. They're usually the victims, and they are becoming, I mean, the way that we're trying to take everything out, we're actually increasing the likelihood of creating more victims that way. We're not helping them, and we're not helping our children.
I agree with you 100%. Like there was this one trans person, I guess, that did one of those shootings in
Mhm.
America, and they're like, "Well, she's trans. He or she was trans." And I said, you know, maybe that person, and I don't condone what this person did at all. I mean, I cried when I heard about the
But it
shooting.
could have been prevented with
The
care.
right mental support, and and again, I don't feel like we're giving enough attention to people who
Need
need that. Like, I mean, also realizing, hey, I'm a girl, but I feel like I'm in a man's body.
it.
You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, or I'm a girl, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say? It's like
Yeah,
that can be really hard, and we got to support and give them what they need to either transition fully or whatever. I mean,
yeah,
but again, I don't condone what that person did. I think it's horrible. And again, I don't even want to even say trans, like in the sense of, I hate it when people say, oh, she's the first CEO, first female CEO.
yeah,
Why do we have to put a label?
yeah,
People are people. End of discussion.
yep, I agree. All right, well, if you like the podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe, and we will see you again next time.
Bye, everybody.